Okay, so today we have Yes and Awaken. And I've wanted to come back to Yes. I didn't know what song to do. And this one, at 15 and a half minutes, this is the longest song I've ever reacted to. And apparently, John Anderson has said that it's either, I believe, his favorite or it's the best song the band ever did. So that intrigued me. And I thought, well, what the heck? Let's do the 15 and a half minute song. This video is going to be long as hell, but why not do it? So let's get into it, talk about it after. Way after, and let's go. This is probably going to be quite the experience, so let's go. Oh, goodness. My goodness. Classical feel. many transitions. Ugh. I mean, what the hell do I say? I still have a cough, I'll say that. But Yes and Awaken, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to say. Um, Again, 15 and a half minutes here. This is going to take a few listens to appreciate everything. This is going to take a few listens to notice every single thing, obviously, again. And as somebody who just heard this for the for the first time and is doing a video, I mean, my goodness, maybe that wasn't a good idea. I don't know. But it's just because again, this is so ambitious. This is it's such, and for a band to hold your attention for 15 and a half minutes, I mean, that's a feat. That's applaudable. That's yeah, you should be congratulated. I mean, my God, is again, as the top comment says, and it's something I thought about when I was listening to it before I looked at the comments. This isn't just a song. This is an experience. This is a trip. This is an adventure. I mean, the boys here, the guys here, whatever. Chris, I got to look at the personnel again. I forget, for God's sake. John, Steve, Chris, Rick, and Alan. I mean, these guys are so good at the craft. They're almost, Yes, it's almost like a super group. And again, from 1977 here, I can't even imagine, for me now though, still, in 2024, after hearing this for the first time, I can't imagine listening to this in 1977 when it was first released. And, as the closer on this album, and, I can't imagine, I would imagine still people were left in awe, kind of like me, had to take a pause and, think about, what the hell did I just hear? What did I just experience? And even as somebody who was not spiritual, who was not religious, any of that stuff, I mean, you don't have to be to get this song, to understand the song, to open yourself up as the song kind of wants you to do. It's such an spiritual experience, such a, you have the church organ in here. I mean, this is almost like something they play in church, I guess I would think. It's just so ethereal. I forget how you say the word, my God, but it's just so, and as well, at points, I found it to be kind of futuristic. Again, new wave was kind of the coming in around this time in 1977. I did get some new wave kind of feel, some vibes, I guess you would say, at points as well. And again, I love how when we get going, to talk about the song, I guess, when you get going, Rick Wakeman doesn't waste any time. He just comes in on the, my goodness, on the piano. And he's so quick throughout the track. And again, there's so many different shifts in the track, like I said at one point during the song as well. It keeps you on your toes. It's unpredictable, which I like as well. You never know what's coming next. You never really know when John's going to come back in. And again, Rick Wakeman is one of the greatest keyboardists, one of the greatest pianists, however you want to say it. He's so good at his craft. And even still, as a guy who doesn't know a lot of Yes, I've heard people talk about these guys. I've heard people talk about how good each one of them is. And, I'm not coming from somewhere, where I don't know anything about them. But yeah, I've always heard great stuff about Rick Wakeman and his work and his style. And again, I talk about his style. I like, again, how, like I said at the start of the song too, it has that classical feel. It's almost like a Johann Sebastian Bach kind of feel, whatever you want to say, Vivaldi kind of feel. And I love that too. And I do believe, I want to say that Rick has always kind of been into that kind of classical feel. He takes that classical feel and puts it into a prog rock song or makes it, 1970s. It doesn't sound outdated. He makes it, feel right for the time. I mean, again, he was just so good at that. He was a master at his craft. I mean, my God. And you talk about a master at the craft, John Anderson, a master at vocals, I would say. And I would say too, again, I love his beautiful, clear, soaring voice. I mean, my God, it is a voice where it's so bright, it's so beautiful, it's so enlightening, it's heavenly, all this stuff comes to mind. But at the same time, I don't know if the lyrics really mean a lot. Obviously, the whole overall feeling here, I feel like, is reaching a higher consciousness, going beyond your mundane life, going beyond that and feeling a higher consciousness. And again, I feel like at points, Rick almost kind of does talk about, not Rick, John kind of talks about, I don't know if you'd say a god, but it's like something god-like or whatever your god is. I mean, it doesn't have to be a god, whatever, the Christian God, whatever. But to reach a higher power, to reach, a higher power, not even just, reach a higher feeling in your life, find your true self. All that stuff comes to mind. It's very philosophical. It's very spiritual. Again, I mean, you keep using that word, but and it's very enlightening. I mean, my God. And again, it's just, there's so much here. There's so much, to think about. It leaves you pondering, so many questions. It leaves you thinking, trying to go leaves you thinking about going beyond your mundane life, or going beyond what you already know, and finding more things out about yourself, and reaching the stars in the sky, kind of like John's voice is reaching the stars in the sky. My God. And again, I'll talk about as well Steve Howe on the guitar here, on many different things. I'm looking at the personnel here. This is, again, credits are adapted from the 1977 album. So I don't know if all of this stuff was on this track, but Steve Howe on steel guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, pedal steel guitar, vocals as well, and Chris Squire was also on backing vocals. So Chris and Steve, I don't think, Rick was not on backing vocals, or Alan either, but I love Chris and Steve behind John. I didn't say it during the song because there was no points where I could come in and say it, I guess. But I love the harmonies. The harmonies here are beautiful too. My God, their voices complement John so well. I mean, their voices are even kind of high too. And Alan White on drums here, again, another Alan White drummer, again, as somebody who likes Oasis. But Alan White's work here too. He plays everything so right for the band. He has his moments where he becomes even more kind of thunderous in a way, but at the same time, he plays what's right for the band, and for me, again, I feel like Rick kind of takes over here. There's so many intricacies with the guitar work here as well. The guitar work and the piano kind of really take it over for me. The church organ, and I love a church organ. Even as somebody who didn't like to go to church as a child, my goodness gracious, there's something about the church organ that's so undeniable, so powerful, so bold. When it's a church organ that you hear. Again, it has such a distinctive sound, and I just love that there's a church organ in here. And again, Rick can play anything. I feel like if it has keys on it, for God's sake, he can take it and just start going, and creating such a great symphony or whatever, such great music anyway. And yeah, it was beautiful. Chris Squire, I don't know if I already mentioned him, but again, I love the heavy bass, especially near the end of the track. I didn't expect it to get so heavy in that way, to end everything off. And again, I was thinking, how were they going to finish this track off? And I just like how I believe it was like a kind of simple, or kind of slowed down riff at the end, and then just it peters out, and it's just like, again, it leaves you wondering, like, what the hell did I just hear? And I got what you did here was a dreamy, beautiful, spiritual, enlightening track, and a song that, again, that's so much more than just a song. I mean, I don't know how to explain it anymore. But it's just so much more than meets the eye, obviously, and it's just such an experience. I can't say it enough. Such a trip, and it's so important here, and it's so big. It's bigger than us. I mean, my God, what am I talking about? I don't know, but it's so much bigger than it seems to be off, from the get go. I know the song is 15 and a half minutes, but it's so much more than what meets the eye, or than the first listen. Because again, we're talking about big, themes here, and anyway, it's nuts. But anyway, I guess I'll go on to these lyrics now. And I don't know if I'm going to butcher these lyrics or not, because again, the point is for it to not be straightforward. Again, this is all up to interpretation. This is all up to a spiritual feeling, really. I mean, my God. So after the first intro there, the instrumental intro, we have the first verse. High vibration go on to the sun. Oh, let my heart dreaming, past immortal as me, where can I be? Again, these lyrics, I mean, they're almost like, just different lines put into a verse. I mean, my God, it's just, I don't know if they do work together, but again, it's almost kind of a choppy poem in a way, and that's on purpose, and it works, again. But again, talking about the vibration to the sun, I feel like, again, we talk about feeling awakened, feeling that transcendental, there's a word, feeling, oh, let my heart dreaming, past the mortal is me. I'm just a mere mortal. Where can I be? What can I be as well? What comes to mind is actually, a guy just floating in space, floating in nothingness, and wondering where he is, where he can be. And again, just all these questions come to mind. Again, this is very philosophical, and that's the whole point. Again, the point is not to be straightforward and for it to be easily interpreted, I would say. But again, the whole overarching message is there of, reaching a higher power, not reaching a higher power, but reaching a higher self-consciousness, or feeling awakened, obviously, with the title. Wish the sun to stand still, reaching out to touch our all being, past all mortal as we, here we can be here now, here we can be. And again, the whole point of wish the sun to stand still. The sun, I feel like, as somebody who took some philosophy courses in university, you talk about philosophers from way back in the day. My goodness, Aristotle, Socrates, whatever, all these people. The sun has always kind of been an important part to philosophy, or to feeling some kind of spiritual way, I guess you might say. The sun and the stars. The sun has always been there. It's always, it just, I don't know. There's something so spiritual about it, and again, it works so well in here. The repetition of the sun works very well here as we go on into the chorus as well, where he talks about the sun again. But again, just wishing everything to stand still, especially the sun, to feel that awakening, to feel that pure moment, even more, I guess you might say. That comes into play for me anyway. But again, the whole "here we can be" could awakened, finish off that line. I feel like it would fit in there pretty well. And then we have the chorus: sun's high, streams through, awaken, gentle mass touch. Again, this is where I feel like the awakening, the spiritual transformation starts to happen. Sun's high, streams through. That's very visual. And again, talking about the sun, talking about it streaming through. It's a beautiful visual again, and it works very well here. And again, just talking about that gentle mass touch, feeling that touch of being awakened, perhaps again, the universal touch. Anyway, we go on though. Again, this is all from the top of my head, so I don't know if I'm making sense or not. But here we go with the next chorus again: star song, ageless, awaken, gentle mass touching. And again, the stars come into play here. Star song, you talk about the stars, you talk about the sun. These things are very spiritual. These things have always been talked about, again, from way back in the day, my God. And ageless, these things are ageless. But anyway, and then again, just the whole overarching point of this whole chorus, I guess I would say, is feeling awakened again, feeling that self-consciousness, finding who the true self is, who you are truly. Again, my God, with words. And then we go on again with the third verse: workings of man set to ply out historical life by regaining the flower of the fruit of his tree, all awakening, all restoring you. And those two last lines there, I feel like are very enlightening, I would say. I feel like they're positive. Again, I don't feel like the song is at all... I thought the light went out behind me. I don't feel like the song is at all negative or anything like that, or sad, or whatever, tragic, whatever. None of that is happening here. I feel like it's always all supposed to be upbeat, and all restoring you, all awakening you. That's that's what you want to happen, and that's the feeling you want to have, and that's the transcendental feeling you're trying to feel. And so yeah, that works out very well. And workings of man, I feel like as that, that line, I feel like it starts off many of the next verses here. But again, talking about, all we know is man-made structures. All we know is stuff that is man-made or human-made, however you want to say it. And we want to go beyond that, beyond our mundane life and what we know. So going on again anyway, workings of man crying out from the fire set aflame by his blindness to see, that the warmth of his being is promised for his seeing, his reaching so clearly. Again, this is very poetic. This is very intricate, I would say, as well. And it's up to interpretation again, but I think about, again, workings of man, going beyond time, going beyond what we know, crying out from the fire set aflame by his blindness to see, the warmth of his being is promised for his seeing. Again, wanting to see clearly, wanting to his reaching so clearly, reaching, seeing, trying to go beyond what you know. Again, I feel like that comes into play here again, unless there's more to that verse than I think of. I don't know. Then we have the fifth verse here: workings of man. Here we go again. Driven far from the path, be re-released in his inhibitions, so that all is left for you, all is left for you. Again, I just feel like, all is left for you. The you here is very important. I feel like that's the whole point of the track, for you to feel, for me to feel, whatever, this powerful feeling, this inner awakening, to find who you really are, to find out, these realizations, to ponder these realizations, and find out more about what is beyond the life we know, my God, and, the workings of man again. And, driven far from the path, we want to go off the path here. That's the whole point of the track, I feel like. And all is left for you. And, again, all is left for you is to be awakened. I don't know. Then we go into the sixth verse: master of images, songs cast a light on you, hark through. Again, hark. I haven't heard that word in a while. My goodness. I believe that's a part of a Christmas song. Anyway, hark through dark ties, I should say, that tunnel us out of sane existence and challenge us direct as I see young stars assemble. Tunnel us out of sane existence. Tunnel us out of what we know. Out of, we want to kind of go insane here, I feel like. We want to go beyond this sane existence that we know and challenge ourselves, I guess, as well, as I see young stars assemble. Again, the stars come into play again, and the stars assemble. And master of images, I feel like this is where the master being, the almost godlike figure comes into play here that John is kind of talking about. But yeah, cast a light on you, hark through dark ties. Again, just trying to reach that inner being, that inner self, and going into a higher place. Again, I sound like a broken record. Master of light. So now we talked about earlier there, what did he say? Master of images. Now we have master of light, master of everything, basically. All pure chance. As exists, cross-divided, in all encircling mode, oh, closely guided plan, awaken in our hearts. Again, I feel like just, awakening every part of us, in our heart especially as well. He's kind of talking to this master. He's talking to, this master of light, this master of images. And then we go on master of soul, set to touch, all in my goodness, impenetrable youth. My goodness, ask away that thought, be contact with all that's clear, be honest with yourself. And I feel like the last of this verse is very important. Be honest with yourself. There's no doubt, no doubt. Again, be honest with yourself. Find out who you really are, your true self. That's the whole point of here. Having realizations, having, asking yourself questions, going beyond what you know. I mean, again and again and again, my God, master of soul. And we're still talking to this master here. Again, the master of the soul. And you were talking about touch here. Touch is so important here. Again, feeling awakened, my God. And the youth are important here too as well. The youth, can experience this while they're in their youth, and go on and be honest with themselves and leave no doubt for when they're older, and they don't have to experience this when they're older. Whatever, I don't know. It's easier to experience this whole kind of higher self when you're young, and then use that throughout your life. I don't know again if that makes any sense. And then we have the 9th verse here, the last verse. My goodness, master of time now. And time again is a whole man-made thing. But anyway, setting sail over all of our lands, and again, all of our lands. Again, I just think about everything, all encompassingly of what we are and who we are, and all of our land and what we have and whatever. And as we look forever closer, shall we now bid farewell, farewell? And again, shall we now bid farewell as we, ascend to a higher place? And or as well, I was thinking, because the song is almost over at this point, I almost feel like John in a way is saying farewell, farewell to the listener, because again the song's coming to an end. I was gonna say finally, but that sounds like I'm happy it came to an end. But it's gonna come to an end, at this point, after 15 minutes, or after 12 minutes, I guess, when this part came in. Anyway, then we have the bridge, and this bridge almost kind of says everything in a conclusive way that was said before it. So high vibration, go on. We heard that line. To the sun, or oh, let my heart dreaming. Pass immortal as me, where can I be? Wish the sun to stand still. Again, we heard that line. Reaching out to touch our own being. Past all mortal as we, here we can be awakened, I would say again. But again, I like how, the bridge here kind of, again, takes everything that was previously said in the verses. It kind of concises everything down to, again, some lines we already heard, but I just like how it kind of concludes everything, summarizes everything in a way as well, and gives the whole point of it again. To the sun, oh, let my heart dreaming. Your dreaming heart. You have to have a dreaming heart. You have to have some kind of spirituality to feel this feeling that you want to have to reach this place of finding your inner self, whatever, and finding out who you really are, whatever. Past the mortal as me. Again, I want to find what's more than who I know in myself. Wish the sun to stand still, wish things to stand still so I can feel awakened again. Here we can be awakened again. That's what I feel like would finish off that line very well. And then the outro, my God, like the time I ran away, turned around and you were standing close to me. And that's repeated, like the time I ran away, turned around and you were standing close to me. And I was thinking, now that we've ascended, now that we have reached this higher self-consciousness, I feel like that's the whole point. It's almost like, are we talking about we run into our older selves, like, I turn around, you were standing close to me? Or are we talking about this master that's standing close to us now, this master of images and soul and etc. So I mean, that comes to mind too. Or again, like I said, or are we talking about we're standing next to who we used to be, and what we used to know before we ascended and found our true selves and found out what we really can achieve and what we can find in ourselves, have that whole inner growth. I mean, that's the whole goddamn point of this, I would say. And talk about reflection, and talk about what we can be, beyond what we already know. Anyway, I mean, this is so philosophical. I mean, I don't know if it makes sense to anybody, but again, that's what these lyrics are, that's what they do to you. I mean, it makes you talk about these things that I've never talked about before. Again, I feel like I'm going back to a philosophy class in university or something. But anyway, leave your interpretations down below, I guess, or what you think about it. But again, the whole general message is the same. Reaching that higher feeling, reaching a feeling you've never felt in your life, and going beyond your mundane life. I mean, my God, I'm just repeating myself, but yeah. The overall message is the same, but whether the interpretations of the verses I gave are right or not, I don't know. But I feel like I understand what the whole song is trying to say. So anyway, this was quite the endeavor, as somebody who was still kind of sick, and talking this much is probably not good for me. But either way, here we are. So what a great song, what a great tune, what a transcendental tune, I will say as well. An ethereal tune, such a light and futuristic and everything. There's so much going on in this track for 15 and a half minutes, and there's so many transitions and beautiful instruments and beautiful instrumentation and a beautiful voice and beautiful harmonies, and it's just nuts. So anyway, hopefully I gave it its due here. I don't know how long this video is at this point because I did take a pause, but thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff. Really appreciate all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.